In the water is heat 1 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 3, Bill Cole, San Diego Swim Masters. 4, Lori Benjamin, Movi Masters. 6, Tom Mitchell, San Diego Swim Masters. And in lane 7, Jack Fritz, Arizona Masters. And that will be Lori Benjamin out of lane number 4, touching first with an unofficial time of 58.76. Heat 2. In the water is heat 2 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 2, David Edsall. 3, Christian Joaquim. 4, Miles Chedekel. 7, John Campbell. 8, James Zerr. And in lane 9, Peter Eisenklam. And touching first out of lane number 7, that's John Campbell with an unofficial time of 42.70. Heat 3. In the water is heat 3 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 2, Lawrence Turkle. 3, Peter Anderson. 4, Kenneth Frost. 5, Douglas Springer. 6, Richard Myers. 7, James DeLacy. 8, Rick Meyerhoff. 9, Steve Peterson. And in lane 10, Dennis Sawyer. And touching first out of lane number 5 is Douglas Springer with an unofficial time of 34.87. Heat 4. In the water is heat 4 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 2, Clark Yeager. 3, Bill Reeder. 4, Bruce Schroeder. 6, Frederick Dory. 7, Clifford Johnson. And in lane 9, William Traster. And touching first out of lane number 4, Bruce Schroeder with an unofficial time of 42.02. Heat 5. In the water is heat 5 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, Barry Haddon. 2, John Foote. 4, Carl Owens. 5, Hubie Kearns. 7, Roger Williams. 9, Greg Walsh. And in lane 10, Sikar Varanasi. And touching first out of lane number 5 is Hubie Kearns with an unofficial time of 34.73. Heat 6. In the water is heat 6 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 3, Jeffrey Penalty. 5, Walt Agajanian. 6, Joseph Barfay. 7, Robert Dennis. And in lane 9, Robert DeMarco. And touching first out of lane number 6 is Joseph Bartfay with an unofficial time of 33.70. Heat 7. In the water is heat 7 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, Jack Hill. 2, Robert LaMontagne. 3, Bill Butler. 4, David Johansson. 5, Bruce Christ. 6, Lionel Pailier. 8, Stanley Lee. And in lane 9, Philippe Meyer. And touching first out of lane number 9 is Philippe Meyer with an unofficial time of 35.72. Heat 8. In the water is heat 8 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, James Perry. 2, Bob Anderson. 3, John Morales. 4, Richard Scoggins. 5, Joseph Patar. 7, Keith Robinson. 8, Harlan Pinto. And in lane 10, Daniel Warnshouse. And touching first out of lane number 5, Joseph Patar with an unofficial time of 34.83. Heat 9. In the water is heat 9 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, Gerard von Hoffman. 2, Ying Wu Shanli. 3, Henry Vahovic. 4, David Smith. 5, Richard Neville. 6, Brian Kaiser. 7, Michael Hom. 8, David Lindstedt. 9, Bruce Pack. And in lane 10, Jay Anderson. Touching first out of lane number 5 is Richard Neville with an unofficial time of 30.31. Heat 10. In the water is heat 10 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 3, Chris Engelhart. 4, Robert Jackson. 5, John Ramos. 6, Robert Moore. 7, Niall Nolly. 8, Bob Braham. And in lane 10, Vincent Flores. And touching first out of lane number 4 is Robert Jackson with an unofficial time of 32.34. Heat 11. In the water is heat 11 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, Douglas Barker. 2, Thomas Melgar. 4, Charlie Rain. 5, Mark Richards. 7, Kyle Lindo. 8, Pedro Correa Marrero. And in lane 9, Franklin Mancia. And touching first out of lane number 7 is Kyle Lindo with an unofficial time of 32.08. Heat 12. In the water is heat 12 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, Michael Bergman. 2, Carl Haney. 4, Don Smith. 5, David Guthrie. 6, Carlo Traviani. 7, Donald Smith. 8, Gregory Blomel. 9, Oscar Gonzalez. And in lane 10, Brent Washburn. Touching first out of lane number 6 is Carlo Traviani with an unofficial time of 26.58. Heat 13. In the water is heat 13 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 2, Abel Tong. 3, Mike Chang. 4, John Wilhelm. 5, Dan Scoggin. 8, Michael Abeg. 9, James Holt. And in lane 10, Marcelo Cabral. Tight heat. Touching first out of lane number 2 is Abel Tong with an unofficial time of 35.81. Heat 14. In the water is heat 14 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, Gregory Otto. 2, Thomas Sheehan. 3, Stephen Powell. 4, Jeffrey Krieger. 5, Charles Niedhofer. 6, Tim Wad. 9, Long Wu. And in lane 10, Brent Barnes. And touching first out of lane number 5 is Charles Niedhofer with an unofficial time of 32.69. Heat 15. In the water is heat 15 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 2, Doug Kohler. 3, Brian Bunch. 4, Nico Tortelli. 5, James Fisher. 6, Brendan Hickey. 7, James Niedhofer. 8, Steve Kirkland. 9, Mark Fleming. And 10, Anthony Kung. And touching first out of lane number 4 is Nico Tortelli with an unofficial time of 28.98. Heat 16. In the water is heat 16 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, Christian Sellers. 2, Chuck Graff. 4, Brian Scodeline. 5, Benjamin Vanderwell. 6, Mark Beagle. 7, Brian Strait. 8, James Lube. 9, Daniel Tom. And in lane 10, Douglas Woodring. Touching first out of lane number 5 is Benjamin Vanderwell with an unofficial time of 28.54. Heat 17. In the water is heat 17 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, Todd Verkus. 3, Michael Kolarov. 4, Christian Navard. 5, Jim Dietrich. 7, Brent Basire. 8, Nelson Hansen. And in lane 10, Kurt Iverson. Touching first out of lane number 5 is Jim Dietrich with an unofficial time of 31.28. Heat 18. In the water is heat 18 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, David Harold. 2, Brent Wood. 3, Chad Souvigny. 4, Ash Anderson. 6, David Dunson. 7, Chris Tesson. 9, David Roberts. And in lane 10, Sean Paxton. And touching first out of lane number 6 is David Dunson with an unofficial time of 28.66. Heat 19. In the water is heat 19 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, Amit Indap. 3, Alex Melikov. 4, Irving Ambrosio. 5, Nicholas Zambrano. And in lane 7, Tyler Michael. And touching first out of lane number 7 is Tyler Michael with an unofficial time of 33.57. Heat 20. In the water is heat 20 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, Jeff Hoskinson. 2, Bobby Wu. 3, Russell Walter. 4, Jefferson Litton. 5, Voldemir Krasikov. 7, Darren Bushman. 8, Brian Ragsdale. And in lane 9, Rafael Casillas. And touching first out of lane number 5 is Voldemir Krasikov with an unofficial time of 28.87. Heat 21. In the water is heat 21 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, Brian Bell. 2, Keith Hill. 3, Paul Klepchik. 5, Jeff Cummings. 6, Blake Holden. 7, Leo Lemelson. 8, Carlos Sanchez. 9, Ryan Latham. And in lane 10, Wayne Huang. And touching first out of lane number 5 is Jeff Cummings with an unofficial time of 26.53. Heat 22. In the water is heat 22 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, Joseph Keene. 2, Robert Guida. 3, Clay Pruitt. 4, Jeremiah Stanton. 5, Mikkel Steinfeld. 6, Matthew Mester. 7, Jason Shanny. 8, Brian Compton. 9, Andrew Perdue. And in lane 10, Alvaro Hunter. And touching first out of lane number 6 is Matthew Mester with an unofficial time of 31.41. Heat 23. In the water is heat 23 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, Jimmy Song. 3, Kyle DeRue. 4, Tate Eklund. 5, Dustin Pfluger. 6, Jordan Profit. 8, Andy Fillmore. 9, Tyrone Jemison. And in lane 10, Emery Aiden. And touching first is lane number 6, Jordan Profit with an unofficial time of 27.36. Heat 24. In the water is heat 24 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, Guillaume Fillion. 3, Dirk Kraft. 5, Marcus Rogan. 6, Aaron Cole. 8, Matthew Winfield. 9, Thorne Bosich. And in lane 10, Chad DeRue. Touching first is lane number 5, Marcus Rogan with an unofficial time of 26.24. Heat 25. In the water is heat 25 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 3, Michael Giancarlo. 4, Brent Keys. 7, Eric Wynn. 9, Antonio Escobar. And in lane 10, Matt Sinnott. And touching first out of lane number 10 is Matt Sinnott with an unofficial time of 29.77. Heat 26. In the water is heat 26 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, Serdan Markovic. 2, Brian McAteer. 3, Kyle Deary. 4, David Peterson. 5, Ronald Henn. 6, Egan Gans. 7, Keenan Newman. 8, Chris Conroy. 9, CJ Young. And in lane 10, Keith Nelson. Touching first is Ronald Henn out of lane number 5 with an unofficial time of 26.10. Heat 27. In the water is heat 27 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 2, Daniel Toberman. 3, Evan Simoni. 4, John Lynch. 5, Jonathan Denton Schneider. 6, Andrew DeMichaelis. 8, Denver Hoggett. And in lane 10, Thomas Santangelo. And touching first is lane number 5. That's Jonathan Denton Schneider with an unofficial time of 26.52. Heat 28. In the water is heat 28 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, Ryan Wolf. 2, Cole Davis. 3, Sergey Kukarski. 4, Nicholas Korth. 5, Reese Gonzalez. 6, Ruben Jimenez. 7, Stephen Van Deventer. 8, Christopher Cowley. And in lane 9, Ferris Kisbati. Touching first is lane number 7, Stephen Van Deventer, with an unofficial time of 25.28. Heat 29. In the water is heat 29 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, Matthew Ramirez. 3, Daniel McIntosh. 4, Felipe Cabral. 5, Alex Muni. 6, Brian Stransky. 7, Jamal Emmerman Clips. 8, Kevin Renault. And in lane 9, Jean-Paul Santana. And touching first out of lane number 4 is Felipe Cabral with an unofficial time of 30.38. Heat 30. In the water is heat 30 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, Shubhrav Gupta. 2, Jacob Birchfield. 3, Austin Prevost. 4, Nathan Kimball. 5, Robert Ilgenfritz. 6, Brent Buff. 7, Casey Colella. And in lane 9, Jeremy Linneberg. And touching first out of lane number 5 is Robert Ilgenfritz with an unofficial time of 26.24. Heat 31. In the water is heat 31 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 1, Eric May. 2, Matthew Healy. 3, Joshua Lefebvre. 4, Patricio Ortiz. 5, Benjamin Kono. 6, George Greenhall. 7, Joshua Kreider. 9, John Amos. And in lane 10, Michael Lee. And touching first out of lane number 5 is Benjamin Kono with an unofficial time of 23.97. Heat 32. In the water is heat 32 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 2, Alexander Becker. 3, Aiden Asuncion. 4, Kyle Fernandez. 5, Nicholas Gutierrez. 6, Zach Legobovic. 8, Sean Vaishnav. 9, Jackson Borchers. And in lane 10, Stephen Scholes. And touching first out of lane number 4 is Kyle Fernandez with an unofficial time of 29.79. Heat 33. In the water is heat 33 of 34 for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 5, Michael Camacho. 6, Taras Polokov. 7, Casey McQueston. 8, Mott Donna. 9, Daniel Pierce. And 10, Kevin Liu. And touching first out of lane number 5 is Michael Camacho with an unofficial time of 27.84. Heat 34. In the waters, our 34th and final heat for event 47, men's 50-yard breaststroke. In lane 2, Alexander Damiecki. 3, Masaki Ishizawa. 4, Carl Arvidsson. 5, Niangguo Liu. 6, Benjamin Cable. 9, Rami Bachet. And in lane 10, Yuki Matsudaira. And touching first out of lane number 6 is Benjamin Cable with an unofficial time of 26.02. Thank you, swimmers. That concludes the meet for today. Thank you guys so much for coming out to Irvine.